All right, let's talk about this for a minute. This is the topic of the day. In case you're wondering, topic of the day, we do this with every podcast. And don't forget, on Saturdays, we do the live stream on YouTube. The FBTV video podcast will be live streamed. And Saturday is Q&A day. So if you got any questions that you'd like us to answer during the Saturday broadcast, email us, fbtv@freightbrokertv.com. Again, my name is Mike. I'm your host. And I am also the lead consultant at Taltoa. We train and consult freight brokers, freight broker agents, trucking companies. Check us out. Check us out. If you're thinking about becoming a freight broker agent, you really need to check us out, because we guarantee placement. Okay, into our mentorship program. That's where you can begin your broker operation after you finish training through us under a licensed broker, so you can begin getting the experience, building the customer base to prepare you for a future in transportation. But the topic today is working hours. I get this question all the time. What hours does a broker work? Can I do it on weekends? I have a full-time job. Can I still broker? All right, here's the scoop. As a broker, you're an intermediary, meaning you're the middleman. So you can't put a deal together unless the trucking company is at their desk and the customer's at their desk. See what I mean? So in other words, you're going to have the shipper at their desk, and you're going to have a dispatcher at their desk. Now, when does all that happen? It's different for all these companies. Now, as far as working hours, my rule was I would be at my desk at whatever time my customer was at their desk. If they got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was at my desk at 6 a.m. 5 o'clock in the morning, I was at my desk at 5 a.m. Get the idea? Because I was here to provide service. They needed a call. They had a load just come in. They needed help. I was here to help them. Now, trucking companies. Every trucking company is different, but some have overnight, 24/7 dispatch. Some start about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. I know some of you dispatchers going, 6 a.m. I know when I was driving, it may be a little bit different now. When I was driving, don't expect the dispatcher at their desk till at least 7:30. And you always wanted to give that dispatcher time to get a cup of coffee down him, if at all possible. So you got to have both of them at the desk. Now, what time they leave? What time they go home? It varies, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's think about this a minute. If you got to be at your desk, you're the intermediary, you're going to have to be at your desk pretty much the same time they are. So if you're working, if you got a full-time job right now, whatever it may be, and you're having to working during those hours, you're not going to have very much, well, you're not going to have any success brokering, for the simple reason, when you are able to broker, nobody's going to be around. See what I mean? Now, you may be saying, well, wait a minute, Mike, what if I agree to move the load? I got the paperwork. It's my load. Yeah, you could, but you still got to be there for the trucks. We'll get into this more in a moment. That's about the only time you can, if you already got the paperwork for the load, it's your load. There's no having to get in touch with the customer, but we'll get into that in a moment when we talk about Saturday, weekends, holidays. Now, for you people that work a full-time job, you're wanting to become a broker. If you are off a day or two during the week, I got a client, they're off on Monday and Tuesday every week from their regular job, the job they're doing now. They're transitioning into brokering. I always recommend to everyone, don't give up your day job, your source of income, until you've replaced it with your broker operation. Don't cross your fingers and think you're going to be the exception. Yeah, I'll be making money in 30 days. I'm going to put my heart into it. I'm going to bust my tail in. I will be the exception. No, you probably won't. That's reality. And don't let any of these yahoos tell you different, because reality is it takes time. You got to build relationships. You got to make the contacts. You know, it's and time flies by so quick. It will. It'll fly by quick on you. That 30 days will be here before you know it. And if you haven't, you know, set anything up to where you're moving loads yet, now what do? You're panicking. It's hard to work as a salesperson. A freight broker is a salesperson when you are panicked or have a lot of stress. And believe me, not having enough money, that will be stress. I'm sure you've experienced it before. There's no reason to have that kind of stress. Now, maybe you work 3 o'clock till noon, something like that. Okay. Yeah, the opportunity is going to be better for you because you still got that last half of the afternoon. Understand, the mornings are going to be the busiest time of your broker operation. That's when trucks are getting empty. They're looking for loads. Shippers, you know, they got more loads that are coming in that they're trying to find trucks for. Yeah, it gets pretty wild. You know, most of your income, I would say the bulk of your income as a broker is going to be made between the hours of 7 and noon in that ballpark area. But there's still money to be made in the afternoon. The main thing you're going to be doing in the afternoon is customer service, customer maintenance. What I mean by that is checking in with your customers, following through, working on building those relationships, checking with carriers. Maybe you've got some loads you're trying to get moved. Obviously, you want to work the load board, see if you can find trucks to move those loads. And most of all, you're going to be making sales calls. You've got to make sales calls, especially when you're new. Don't let anybody tell you different. I saw one guy talking about, the customer should call you. How are they going to call you if they don't know you exist? You see what I'm getting at? So, you know, if you're doing night work, you know, if you're working second shift, yeah, that's golden for you. If you put your heart into it and you want to get off that, you want to build your own business as a broker, yeah, you've got the mornings and early afternoon free. You see what I'm saying? Before you have to go in. That's a possibility. But you got to understand, you can only broker freight when everybody's at the table. And that's usually going to be from 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So keep that in mind. And you got to remember time zones. If you are in California and you got a customer out in North Carolina, well, they're 3 hours ahead of you. So 6 a.m. in North Carolina, it's 3 a.m. in California. You get the idea? You got to get those time zones down. It's not a difficult thing, and after you've been in the industry a little bit, it'll fall into place for you pretty quick. But that's that. Now, what about weekends? I always get that. Well, golly, Mike, you know, I'm off on weekends. Can I broker on weekends? Yes, if you've already got a customer and you've already committed to a load, you can move on Saturday. Or if your customer is going to be open on Saturday, going to be behind their desk on Saturday, of course you can. But usually that wraps up around noon. So, you know, if you're thinking about getting into the industry and you're going to be part-time just working Saturdays, it's not going to work. Well, never say never. You're going to have to figure out how to make it work because understand, by noon on Saturday, generally the dispatchers have gone home at the trucking company, the shipper, they're gone for the weekend by then. So you've got to have your ducks in a row, you know, have that all fixed up. Yes, it's possible. Now, you know, it depends on what you're doing during the week, too. You know, you may have things going on during the week to where your hours are allowing you to do some prospecting to where you can do some things on the weekend. You know, it depends on the customer. If the customer's working on the weekend, yeah, you can work. But you're going to have that customer before you can work on the weekend. And that requires making your sales calls during the week more times than not. All right. Now, I know that sounds kind of goofy. Matter of fact, right now, I think a video dropped, or it's going to drop in the next few days, an average day in the life of a freight broker. That's going to be on YouTube. You may want to check that out as part of our series, How to Become a Successful Freight Broker. Matter of fact, the average day, it was part 4 in our series, and it ended up being part 1 of part 4 because it turned out being a long, long video, so we had to split it up. So that's going to be dropping here in the next day or two. And the follow-up to that, the part 2 of part 4, probably be showing up here within 7 to 10 days, I'm sure. All right. Don't forget Saturday mornings, live stream YouTube, FBTV Video Podcast. If you got a question you want answered during the live stream, FBTV at freightbrokertv.com. We will answer your questions on Saturday morning, Q&A day.